everyone, and welcome to
Hell yeah!
Spoilers, obviously.
Spoilers, obviously. And then with a little bit of fuck me, where the fuck? It's spoilers, obviously. I think I spoiled it. I'm not quite sure.
Do you want to try again?
No, we spoiled it. Let's go. Obviously.
Okay. Anyways, I am your host Joel, and with me today, as always, Moses Moon.
Hey guys, what's up?
And as well, my big brother as a surprise guest, Adam.
Hello, everyone.
He's
Hello.
not
How
that
is it?
actually big, you know. He's kind of a small dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because we shower together and you know the truth.
That's true. That's true.
What's up, guys?
Oh man,
Doing
just
pretty
fucking
good.
noodles. Yeah, it's
I don't
all
know
good.
about you guys, but I'm excited. I have a feeling I'm going to be the
Hmm.
devil's advocate in this conversation.
Oh,
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to hearing your position.
Very, very interesting. So, with that, let's get into our subject of this episode.
Hmm.
We
What are we
are-
dissecting?
We are going to dissect a frog. We're going to talk about the new Amazon TV series, Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Rop.
Rop. Now, Moses, you and I already did talk about the teaser
Yeah.
of The Rings of Power. So,
Mhm.
to the audience, if you are interested into listening to what we expected, what we expect to see in The Rings of Power, you are more than welcome to go to episode 2 of the podcast, and over there you can actually compare what were our expectations to what we actually are going to see and talk about. I'm also going to put a link below, but until then, a quick brief. How did all of you get into Lord of the Rings? Moses, you already told me, but in short, I want to
Briefly.
Yeah, I want
briefly
for
was
the
through my
audience.
father.
I want the audience to know our background a bit, because I'm pretty sure we all have different backgrounds of our knowledge about Tolkien's work.
For our credentials. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I was introduced to Lord of the Rings via my father. He read me the books prior to the movie's release so that I could be quote unquote ready. But of course, I fell in love with that world, watched the movies, reread the books on my own, and delved deeper into the realm of Tolkien on my own journey over the course of many years. And I've had many a reread since. And every year I watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Just for a good force of habit. And then if there's anything that strikes me, I will generally pick up the Silmarillion here and there to jump into various aspects that I do adore. That's me.
That's awesome. Adam, how did you get to Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember at all. I just remember, I think the first time I heard about it was watching the movies when they came out, the first one, and then I waited another year for the next one, and it was awesome. It was really cool. And throughout the years, the older I got, the more immersed I found myself in that world. I started reading The Hobbit, which was extremely difficult. I realized that this is crazy. I mean, I had to read it with a dictionary back in the day because the English is outstanding. I believe that Tolkien wrote this as a bedtime story for his kids. I mean, it was insane. And then from there, I most likely, stopped. So I'm the regular fan. I'm not a diehard fan like you guys. I saw the movies. I watched some videos on YouTube, but I don't know anything about the Silmarillions. I don't know anything about, I don't know, Beren, Luthien, all those other stories out there. I'm just, your regular fan. And I actually started to introduce the movies to my kids, and they fell in love with it also. So that's where I am right now.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I'll also give a quick brief. So I don't remember when exactly, but at some point, Adam and my rest of our siblings introduced me to Lord of the Rings. I fell in love with it, and then at some point, our older brother, best friend, Liran, he told me, "Hey, you do know there's an extended edition?" Like, what? So I
Hmm.
saw the extended edition. I fell in love with the world even more, and it came to a point that I do a Lord of the Rings marathon once every year. And then I decided, okay, I want to dive into this world even more. I wanted to read the books, never had the time, so I did audiobooks. Yes, I also did
They count.
Andrew Serkis audiobooks. Amazing. Overall, the audiobooks of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, I've listened to it maybe 5 times. Then I wanted to get into the world even deeper, so I started watching YouTube videos. I'll give a shout out because I personally think this is the best YouTube video when it comes to Tolkien. And there is a YouTuber. His channel is called Nerd of the Rings.
Nerd of
Amazing,
the
amazing channel. I do recommend watching his stuff. Anyways,
I second
I saw his videos. I fell in love with the world even more. I decided, I'll read the books. So I got Baron and Luthien, read that book. Amazing story. I have
Mhm.
also The Fall of Gondolin. Started reading that. Haven't finished it yet, but I do know the main plot of it. And also amazing story of
Spoilers,
what I've
man.
read. Yeah, of what I've read so far. And that is more or less my knowledge. Yes, I have seen a lot of YouTube videos, so my knowledge is a lot bigger than I think Adam is, and the average fan. And with
Mm.
that, I do believe we can actually jump into our episode.
Because
Guys, it's how you use it.
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting to understand what we come out with this conversation, because who really is this series for? Is it
Mm.
for the diehard fans? Is it for people like me who just kind of know about it? Is it for, I don't know, Jeff Bezos himself who wants to put another landmark in the world where something is beloved and now owned by him?
Anyways, a little fun fact before we really dive into it. A lot of
Mm.
people are very skeptical about this TV series because, one, Amazon paid, and they're very open about it. They want everyone to know we paid the most amount of money for a TV series. They paid $720 million for this show.
Per episode or
Damn.
like for the entirety of it?
Okay, so half of it is just to own the rights or have the rights
Mm.
but not own them. And the other half is for the actual show for season 1.
Mm. How many episodes are we promised?
Eight episodes.
Mm.
So this is what I know. I also heard that not that long ago, I don't remember which company that owned all of Tolkien's work, but they basically sold everything to a different company. I don't remember the name of it, but this happened like a day or two ago. And because of it, no one knows yet if this could affect the power of the rings, if for good or bad. If it does affect it for the bad, it could maybe cancel it. I have no idea, but a new company owns Tolkien's work, everything
Mm.
when it comes to movies, games, TV shows, books,
All the
toys,
rights. Yeah.
theme parks, whatever it is, they own it. And what I want to happen over here, I want something like the MCU. Like you have Marvel Studios, right? I want Tolkien Studios that they will create their own studio and own movies and TV shows and do it the right way. I don't
Mm.
want it all spread out, different companies, different things. So I think that would be amazing that if that will happen. But as of right now, we have Amazon that has a Power of the Rings that takes place in the Second Age. And we opened the episode with a prologue about what happened during the Year of the Trees.
What happened? It's the most
Yeah.
rushed prologue I've ever seen, nor note that they did not drop the name of the Cimmerals. You know, until the second episode they were mentioned.
Mhm.
So, and that's super crucial. But I will hold that. Continue with the
So
what.
the reason they basically did a quick prologue, like they basically talked about what 20,000 years within 5 minutes, more or less, and you know,
20,000 years. What are you talking about there?
Not
When
not
Galadriel
20,000.
is when Galadriel is walking with her troops, and they said we've been searching for centuries. He's gone. He's not here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they've been searching for hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years, not
No,
thousands.
yeah,
Each
no.
age is marked by 1,000 years, basically.
No, but you have also the years of the trees. They start with the years of the trees.
Yeah, that's the first age.
Yeah, no, that's even before the first age.
You see,
Yeah.
you see, this is what I'm talking about.
You
You have your diehard guys, it's you guys, and it's me. I'm like the simple guy. I'm just, taking all the information. It's still a little blurry for me. It's still blurry, so they rushed it. So they didn't talk about, hey, this is this person, this is that person. I'm guessing whoever made this show is like, you guys know Lord of the Rings. Everyone knows Lord of the Rings, but I bet you don't know this.
I don't think so. I actually had come from the opposite approach. I think they're like, people aren't going to know the story. It's why they're skipping over certain points, because in the
it doesn't support
condensed
the story.
version of this. Well, here's in the condensed version, you don't need certain elements explained. Certain things are important for various characters, but if they're already going to sandbox it, it's going to be meaning that they're just using the world to tell a story within the framework of something that is allegedly there. And then certain things or aspects of the histories don't need to be explicitly dug on, especially since this is the Rings of Power. We're at the point when they're going to be making the rings that will enslave Middle Earth more or less, and so on. So what came before and some of the minor details aren't crucial. Air quotes fingers for those non-visual listeners. Crucial to the plot line.
So yeah, so the reason they did such a quick prologue is because they don't have the rights for all of that. So they didn't they mentioned Morgoth, but they didn't mention Ungoliant, who is the giant fucking spider that killed the trees and poisoned them.
I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see like a huge spider just seep its teeth inside the tree.
So we kind of see when the trees dies, we see like black kind of taking over, like that is as if the poison taking over the trees. And so you have the year of the trees. After the trees dies, then you have the first age. Then Morgoth, he doesn't really die, but he vanishes. Then
he's imprisoned at that point.
Yeah, he's to be more accurate, he's imprisoned. After that, you have the first age begins. That is a Sauron, age. Then Sauron, dies, as we know in Lord of the Rings. He vanishes again, and then we have the third age, and that's where the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, takes place.
You skipped the whole age, dude.
No, I didn't.
You said the first age and then
the second age.
He said, yeah, he did. Don't worry. Our eagle-eyed viewers at home will be able to shout you out in the comments. No, fuck you, Alan, you're so stupid.
So anyways, the main of this show is going to take place in the second age, as Moses said, before Sauron builds the rings.
So I want to get something straight.
Yeah.
Right.
During the second age, you're telling me that Morgoth is still alive, but he's imprisoned?
He's also alive during the third age.
I mean, Morgoth is basically a deity.
He's a god. He's a Valar, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, but wasn't he thrown into space?
Yeah, he was thrown into space, and what is it called?
Okay, so let's try to like help me out over here. Morgoth was basically thrown into space during the second age.
No, during the
beginning
first age. Morgoth was
first
thrown.
age?
during the
end
first
of
age.
first age, end of first age, beginning of second age. That's why when
Okay,
we take spot, we're freshly into the second age, from
so
what I understand.
we won't be seeing Morgoth at all over here.
No, we won't
No.
be
This
seeing him at all.
Okay, so this is basically the rise of Sauron, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So we're going to see him in his beautiful elvish form. We're going to see him try to be like a worm tongue kind of person, speaking, deceiving people. We met lots of characters over here who eventually, I'm guessing throughout these 8 episodes, are going to be corrupted.
Yeah,
Question
yes,
marks.
yeah, it's a question mark for me
Okay.
because
Okay,
I
I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
I do,
My
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No,
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 no.
no, no.
Okay, I do believe, we are going to see like hundreds of years go by within these 8 episodes. So we see like, let's say, a regular person in his 20s, several years later, he's now in his 80s or even dead. And we see
Why
his
would I
great
why would I
grandchildren.
care about
No, I'm
why
not.
would I care about that?
No, it's not like let's see about this person. It just shows us how time passed by, basically. So I'm not saying
That
like
is
we're going to focus
amazing.
on let's say 10 specific years or 1 year. We're going to focus on let's say 2,000-3,000 years. Well, no,
That's it. If they like cramp everything, they like, okay, we want to tell the story to the chronological order of events kind of deal. That would be nice. However, I don't feel that they're going to establish, similar to how Peter Jackson didn't show that it was 17 years that Frodo waited for Gandalf to return. It was basically, all right, here we go. Like, it's
Right.
been some time, some just, we don't know how much. They didn't show anything, and they didn't show that the elements of the Path of the Ring were semi planned out already.
Mhm.
So I have a similar feeling that we're gonna have like a timeless kind of transition towards various things, unless dates are specifically mentioned, which they haven't really been dropping. Only various dialogues within, like, oh, you missed him out this time and whatever. But so it makes things very like, depending on what we're analyzing.
It feels to me that if this story is going to follow someone, our heroine is Galadriel and our villain is Sauron, even though in the books there wasn't really any direct conflict between the two. It was more, I think, Galadriel's husband and who's the guy? Harold. Harold, is his name Harold?
Who's Harold?
No, not Harold. You know her friend, the guy who's the
Elrond.
Elrond.
Harold. Jesus.
I don't know why.
like
So he
Harold.
I know that in the stories he's the one who actually was fighting her. So I just didn't understand one thing. We last time we see Galadriel, she's this witch of like massive power. She blinks and she can turn you into dust. And over here she's a melee fighter. Like, wow.
This is what I'm afraid of. I'm really afraid that they're going to basically tell us, oh yeah, Galadriel is powerful thanks to the ring she has. Without it, she's not as powerful. So the power that she has that we see in The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, that is all thanks to the ring. But now she doesn't
that's
have the ring.
entirely incorrect.
No, but
well, no, because the Nenya which is her ring. First, the 3 elven rings were made or wrought in defiance of Sauron, if I remember that correctly. And so it's not that they're an enhancement, but they're a protection, if you will. So how they'll establish, like, yes, I agree that you guys have brought up 2 aspects about Galadriel that's being demonstrated in this show, is that they're kind of sandboxing her. They're making her do things that she didn't really do. They're just kind of like, oh, here's the aesthetic of the world, and we're just gonna choose this character and make them the prime character, and they're gonna do these things, but they're not really that character. Like, when I'm looking at Galadriel, because she, even at this point in her lifetime, she's been through the kinslaying, she's been and was against it, she's traveled very far on her feet, basically, and she should be married almost very soon, kind of deal, within this time frame, because Elrond actually marries one of her daughters. Uh, she is a super powerful character, but they haven't at once addressed it. I mean, like maybe they were trying to hint at it when she did the stupid thing of trying to swim across basically the Atlantic, which
That was
by
insane.
that that just so you know, there have been other characters within the lore who have jumped out of ships and basically almost the same type of voyage, never to be seen again. Like, don't matter if you're an elf, you're gonna die in the ocean. So that was really dumb.
Yeah, that was not believable at all.
But
And
here's the thing: like, she's an elf with magic. She could like basically command the wind. They could have like shown crazy shit, but nope. She's just a fighter. She's like, what the fuck?
yeah,
Right, she's right, exactly.
I
There's that part in the Hobbit where she's about to free Gandalf from this orc or whatever, and she's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I came here for the
Wizard.
old guy. I forgot the wizard or Mithandril or whatever, right? And the orc is like, grobble, 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 and she's like, listen, you stupid piece of shit. If you like bother me, I'm going to destroy you. And he goes like, broggle, broggle, and all she does is lift her hand, and he is dust in seconds. You can see like his skeleton shatter out from his back, and you're like, holy shit, holy
Yeah.
shit. And like right now, you're thinking to yourself, okay, in The Hobbit, she's a few thousand years old, so I guess she accumulated this power. But in this TV series, she's not. She's also not that young. She also lived thousands of years, right?
so
She's about a
I
thousand and
have
something at
I
this
have
point.
read somewhere that they said, not in the show, but basically according to the math they did, she should be 5,000 years old in this show.
Mm,
Damn.
Yeah. M-
that makes
In
sense.
The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, she should be like 7, 8,000 years old by then.
She
So
old.
yeah. Maybe even more than that, maybe even close to 10,000. But so
When does she start learning that magic, yo?
From the
the thing
beginning
is, I
in
believe
Valinor.
I believe she already knows that magic. The thing is, she is the granddaughter of one of the gods, of one of the Valar, if I'm not mistaken. So
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure I'm right over here, but I could be wrong. Um, actually, she is a um
She's super. If I recall correctly, she was super adept. She was athletic, but like again, that part wasn't really like emphasized. She learned many things and she went on her way, kind of deal. Um, yeah, it's just watching her. She just, to me, she's not Galadriel. She's just this
no, she's not.
spunky, angry kid who is like. There's so much more power when in the stoicism of what the or actual Galadriel character is, and I feel like the actress just did not read the books because now all she's doing is like, you human, whatever. Like, what are you, a frustrated, angry woman angry at the patriarchy? Like, I don't get it. The king
I
won't let me hunt for Sauron, that piece of shit. I'm a strong, independent woman. It's like, okay, cool.
I have to say, speaking about the king, Gilgalad, amazing casting. When I imagine Gilgalad, I imagine that dude. Like when I see drawings
Yes.
and pictures of Gilgalad, yeah, this guy looks exactly like Gilgalad. And
Right.
I think he did an amazing job. Adam doesn't know what
Yes.
the fuck we're talking about.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
The keen who tells
The king who actually knew that Sauron was probably still out there, but decides to send Galadriel on her way anyways.
Oh, I thought there was Liam Neeson,
what?
No, that was
For
not
for
Liam
s-
Neeson.
for a second there, I looked up and was like, whoa, they got Liam Neeson. Oh, okay,
Nor was it Steven Seagal.
never.
Which, by the way,
Uh,
I make reference because of the hair, and that shit is killing me. I literally am having a very hard time breathing in the elvish look, because I think they nailed a lot of the aesthetics. It's really beautiful. I love being back in the world of Middle Earth. But the hair choices for the elves is fucking driving me insane. I don't even care about the race swapping. It really, it literally pulls me out of the world, because I know that their elves are all described with long hair. Like, yes, even soldiers had long hair, even though that's not necessarily like battle appropriate. The
Appropriate.
elves were that graceful and awesome, like that they didn't care about that shit. They were elegant and crazy. And and
They
also
all look
seeing
like white guys in 1985. I
White
mean,
it's just the
guy,
that's the look.
1985.
That's the look they gave them. Some, with the wavy hair that's going up, and everyone looks like
yeah
they have a yacht and a cabin in the woods waiting for them with their side chick, and I don't know, like stocks and everything. It's like, oh, we are about
yeah
to defeat the Sauron, but I first must trade my stocks with what's his face. Like, why? What is going
it
on? Yeah,
really pulls me out. That's why I say it's like this show seems like a sandbox. It's like, oh, we're gonna play Lord of the Rings, but here are some of our ideas while we're telling this story, and we're gonna use this character who's not here but they're there. It's like a kid making make believe, trying to pretend within the confines of a timeline. Oh, this happens and this happens, and it's like, yeah, but really.
I saw someone said, because at the end of each episode, it says based on Tolkien's books, and I
Mhm.
saw someone said it's not based on his books, it's inspired by his books, and those are two
Correct.
different things.
Very
Because
different.
when I look at this, I don't get the vibe and the feeling Middle Earth. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that, yes, I am back in Middle Earth. At least that's what you're trying to do. But I don't get the nostalgic of, like a lot of people said, like, oh no, you're shitting on this series because it's not Peter Jackson. It's like, no, it has nothing to
No.
do with Peter Jackson. I I don't feel I'm back in Middle Earth. I see I'm in Middle Earth. I
Mm.
I can recognize these characters and their names and all that, but I don't feel like I'm back in Middle Earth. And this is one of my problems I have with this show. The visual effects, yes, that's amazing, like no doubt. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Visually. I cannot say that it doesn't, but I don't know, I just can't connect to it. There are some things that could have been better if it was different.
Mm.
Well, first of all, not skip, time, like certain stories, but also, like, I think be accurate to the timeline, because I did go to IMDb and I think I gave myself a few spoilers. So Sauron creates the ring during the year 1590 of the Second Age, and
Yep.
in the year 1600 of the Second Age, 10 years later, he creates the One Ring. Isildur is born in the year 3209. So basically, 1600 years later, after Sauron creates a One Ring. I think we might see Isildur very soon. And
I don't know.
if we see Isildur very soon, you basically are taking someone who is born very later and bringing him to not the right time period of his life,
Mm.
just to make this
Like I said, some things may not be coherent, but will be timeless in terms of like how they condense the story. Especially since we haven't even a lot of people were going over like, oh, Numenor and da da da. We haven't been introduced. I mean, I'm still waiting for the rest of the season to play out, and I think we have a hint within the end of the second episode of that what we're gonna see next. But a lot of the story pieces haven't been established in order to give us like a firm framework about what's going on. some loose ends, some mysterious hooks to tickle our noses. Who's the man? What's in the box? What's that saw? Is what? Whose ship is that? Da 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 da. And it's a little
Speaking of
like,
who the man is,
yeah,
yeah, sorry.
yeah.
No, I was about to jump to another thing. Yeah, sorry, finish your sentence.
You made me jump onto another track, so I mean,
Shit, sorry.
I just saying in the, I guess, conservatively, that the story, we don't know what's going to quite happen yet, and I don't know how much is going to be established within 8 episodes.
Yeah. I totally agree. I do know they're putting here a mystery in this show.
But that's
I-
exactly how it was back then.
Yeah, no, I know that how it was back then. But I'm saying they're doing it to us as well. I don't know when exactly we are going to see Sauron create the rings, but as of right now, we don't know where Sauron is. We know he's alive. We know he's somewhere.
Mhm.
There are already a few theories who is Sauron, and we might have seen him. We know Sauron is a master of disguise. He can shapeshift. He's also a
Right.
very convincing.
He's cunning.
He's very cunning. We know
Mhm.
that about him.
He's a
The
little
question is, who is Sauron, and have we seen him yet? And
Not quite sure.
I have like maybe a theory that he's one out of the 3 people on my list.
Do you
So do you
think
think
we
we're-
already saw him?
Yes, I think we already saw him. I think maybe on episode 2, maybe
It was
1.
the Harfoot.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about the Harfoot. So if you know what, I'll get back to the Harfoot later. My theory, okay. So we have Meteor Man, also known as
The
the
stranger.
Stranger. If I'm not mistaken, I do remember Moses, you told me that that's Sauron. He did, they
I
do
didn't say it was Sauron
no.
or
Okay, so
Saruman. I said I think that there's enough foreshadowing that this potentially may be
mm,
an Istari, which would be one of the 5 wizards. I think it may be Gandalf, as he's leaning towards a particular color tone in the series, and there's enough how would you say that, like, various hints within the actions of what he does and how he's behaved within his magic, the way he's interacted with certain things, that it could be Mithrandir, if you will. But I'm fully willing to drop that because I think the show is trying to make a hint. A lot of the themes are like the appearance of something may not be as it seems. Like that's a theme that's hounded over and over and over again. And so whether that this character may be good or bad, there hasn't been enough evidence to decide. However, because the minor red herring of like the bugs dying around him after he's used magic, or that what looks like the eye of Sauron in the crater and stuff like that, like you could be like, oh, it's so obvious, it's whatever. But at the same time, like, good, it's that same thing with that quick line. And I think a servant of the enemy would look nicer and smell less, or would smell less foul. The idea that like Aragorn is rough and tough and kind of rough, looks bad, but he's probably a good guy. And so in this case, they're pushing in our face, oh, this guy is very powerful and very dangerous. But I think it's going to be whatever. It would be interesting because there's conflicting time periods about when the Istari came, which is either 1600 or around 1000 ish. So and they, of course, they say they came by boats. That's another factor, but these guys can do whatever the fuck they want. I have no idea.
So from what I know, the Istari, also known as the Wizards, they came during the Third Age, 1000 of the Third Age. That, if I remember right, even if it's not 1000 of the third age, I know
Neither
they
was the
came.
Second Age because they came to fight the War of the Rings kind of deal, because that's why Saruman is interested in the One Ring, and the other the two fuck off to the east, and Radagast becomes more
One with nature.
yeah. So
So I could be wrong of it, but I do remember reading
I'll just
that.
double check.
Reading that they
I
actually
personally
come in
think
the third age.
I personally think that it's not Gandalf, even though they did give a little hints and winks. There's the celebration that they give Galadriel and her troops, and then suddenly you see fireworks all over, and you see butterfly fireworks, then beautiful flower fireworks, and you immediately think to yourself, fireworks, that's Gandalf. Wait a minute, is he already there? Is there something about him? And then because that's what we recognize Gandalf with. He's a servant of the sacred fire, and he knows how to use these fireworks things, but it had nothing to do with him. And then we see this mystery man who, FYI, fell down with fire all around him, but that the little half-foot, hard-foot girl said that the fire isn't hot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So and I'm guessing everyone wants to think, "Ooh, it's Gandalf, it's Gandalf." I personally don't want it to be Gandalf because I associate Gandalf with what's his face's character, even
Ian.
though that's not the right thing. Right. I know it's not right to associate an actor to a specific character, but fuck it, that's what I'm doing right now. And I don't want to see Gandalf. As much as I love him,
Well,
I don't want to
probably
see.
not.
I want to see new things.
I just confirmed it is my bad. And first on spoilers, obviously, I am wrong. Gandalf doesn't make his way until later in the Third Age.
So yeah, so first of all, I don't think it's Gandalf, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah. So all the wizards only enter, they come to play during the third age.
Mm.
And why I don't think it's Gandalf? Well, one, if it is Gandalf, it's a major fuck you to the fans because you're bringing someone from the third age to the second age to make it, tell the story the way you want, but not according how it should be, which is annoying. And I hate when you do something like that. But
Yeah,
the
Peter
reason
Jackson did that in The Hobbit when he brought
Legolas,
Legolas.
yeah, and a lot of people hated that. It was very, very horrible. But the thing is, why I don't think it's Gandalf, because first of all, the guy is wearing a gray cloak, and all that. The reason why I don't think it's Gandalf, because when he enters the planet, a leaf falls next to Gil-galad. Gil-galad picks
Yeah,
up
and
the
it
leaf,
gets all
and it gets all black as evil. And
infected. Yeah,
and then Gil-galad says evil has entered our world. And
true enough.
in episode 2, when the Hobbit, I'm gonna call him Hobbit, when she comes and finds the guy and he's drying on the
Nori. Her name is Nori.
Nori. When he's drying on the rock, he catches her hand. He screams, there's wind, and then darkness comes behind him. Yes, we do know Gandalf also had some of the things similar like that in Lord of the Rings when he was picking up the ring and told Frodo and all that. So it is similar to Gandalf, but if you listen carefully, there's evil whispering as that happens.
And the subtitles, they said mysterious, or like they didn't give it a poignant feel of what the whispering was.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know what that whispering was, but it was very evil. So
Also, he broke the guy's foot, so that's not very cool.
Yeah,
He did. What do you guys talk about? He didn't break his foot.
Yeah.
Come
Did
on.
you not see the way the guy's foot turned when he did the thing?
Come on.
It felt
Wait, you think
if he
you think he broke his foot?
I think so, unintentionally. But in the way they filmed it or shot it, it seemed to imply, because not only like the way his foot was splayed outwards, so if it was going to twist, it would twist outwards, but it just suddenly snapped inwards. Did you not see that?
You guys are looking way too in on this. I
We
totally
have to look at
understand where you're
spin-offs.
coming from, but
Hmm.
but I'm a little paranoid over there. I think that's what they want you to think. Oh, Whispers, he's evil. Galadriel, when she went into that icy pit, she said, "Oh, the fire. There's the evil is so evil here. There's no warmth from the fire." And then Nuri touched the fire, and then she said, "Ooh, the fire doesn't have any warmth." So you immediately think, "Oh, because it's evil," or maybe because it's not fire. Just like this whole series
I
start
didn't.
where
I didn't think that her touching the reason why I'm like teetering is because like the flame of Anor, it's like I don't know. But again, time frame wise, it shouldn't be Gandalf or some of the Ishtaris. But
right, it's not. Wait, why can't it be one of the blue wizards? They
They all
came way before. They
no,
came way before Gandalf.
yes, but still, they came all in the third age. If I remember right, all the wizards, they
All right,
come
that,
to
that was
I
in the
need,
third age.
I need a
yeah,
diehard fan over here. What higher being came in the second age?
in the second
Well,
age.
Yeah, who is this person then? What
I
higher
don't,
being? If it's not the Astari, then who is this person?
it's
I don't
probably
know.
Sauron.
I think it's probably Sauron. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
And
but
the
but
kid who found the Morgul blade is probably going to be his right hand man. It's probably going to turn out to be the
the Witch King.
But it's
So
not going
no.
to be because there should be kings of men. But if they play it that way, I don't know what's going to happen.
So okay.
Let's-
So
It's gonna be the Witch King of Angmar.
about the kid. So I have a theory over that. Why does the kid have the sword in his house? It's Sauron's
Because-
sword. How the fuck did he find it, and why is it in his house? We do in the
because
second
the areas
episode.
in the Southlands in pre Mordor.
Okay, but
So-
still, that's a very serious blade, and he finds it in his house.
It's
The-
not in his house. They went into another farmer's house who's had it hidden, and the elves were talking about that these people were loyal to Morgoth. Hence why it's a Morgul blade.
Hmm.
And that it may have the Eye of Sauron on it. I don't think it's actually his sword, ? The validity of all these things is very confusing. But yeah, the people, the idea is that they're descendants of the descendants of the descendants of people who are on support of Morgoth and were dark, we'll call them darklings. And then like that was, I guess, an heirloom left over that eventually made its way underneath the plank of this farmhouse because these kids were sneaking in there. It's like, I found it by accident.
Mhm.
So it's either a forgotten thing or the farmer of that place knows it, but it doesn't seem that way. So kid finds it and then it starts being all necromantic and drinking his blood and
that that could be it. The guy that saves Galadriel, when she jumps. Okay, wait, before she jumps, the fact that she was sent to the Undying Lands,
Valinor.
to
So
Valinor,
stupid.
it's very stupid because one, like, I'm not, as a viewer, I'm not gonna be, oh my god, we're not gonna see her again. We know we're going to see her again, obviously. And then she, almost dies. Obviously, she's not gonna die. So putting that suspense doesn't help. It's stupid in my point of view. But the thing is, the guy saves her. The guy saves her, and he does have a necklace, and that necklace has a symbol.
I couldn't recognize the token, like what the banner was.
So the banner is the same banner of where the kid with the blade. So it's the same city.
The Southlands, right?
Yeah, they do tell, like, they tell us that the kid was his father. Like, we don't know what his father is. That could be his father. And here is my theory, and it could be good. It could also be bad. What if this guy who helped Galadriel is Sauron? We do know Sauron, can shapeshift. He is very cunning, and he can convince anyone, that he's a good guy. What if he is Sauron? He's helping her to, get to his side or whatever. She's trying to kill Sauron, but not knowing that she's, this guy is the guy who she's trying to kill. And here is where my theory is going to go, and I hope I'm wrong. What if that little kid is this guy's son? which means he is Sauron's son. I hope I'm wrong. I hope like I'm a little
I
right
hope you're
over
wrong
here.
on so many levels
Yeah.
because it
Yeah,
could be
what,
so convoluted. Like, oh, Galadriel's been searching for me. She's a really powerful entity, just like her brother, who I fully
Sent to
abused
the
and
wolves.
basically killed. So, yeah, I'm gonna let her drown. Nope, I'm not gonna let her drown. Just like, okay.
I don't know. I'm like, pulling stuff out of my head.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But also, time frame is weird for traveling. It's almost like GOT Insta Travel, where they're like, it should take a couple of weeks to get somewhere, but all of a sudden we're suddenly there.
Yeah,
You know,
the magic about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit was the travel. That was, what was so amazing over
a
here.
long time to get to places, so you had to write about it.
Yeah, and we see over here in episode 2 exactly what you're about to say. So yeah, continue on. I'll stop cutting you off like the
Yeah,
dipshit
no,
that I
it's
am.
all. No, you're fine, man. But I'm like, it's so the prime example for that is, uh, Elgian, no, Eregion to Khazad-dûm. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, and here's the map, boop, and we're here, and like, no, worn. They look as fresh as a daisy, and then okay, so if Sailor Man is like from the Southlands and he got on a boat and like and then he's all the way over here because Valinor is up. So it's like this weird, like, especially if he escaped the calamity of the town. Maybe he was from that original town where it was torn open first, that the elf and the well woman discover. Maybe he ran away from there and then got on a ship, but that doesn't make sense. And so that's a lot of like time. By the time he would get there, Galadriel would have already drowned and all that shit. So I'm confused by a lot of things about the show.
yes, it's very confusing what they're doing over here. I would have very much appreciate, because I believe they are going to show us a 1,000-year time span. If they show us in the corner, like they show us the name of which where we are, the corner, what time period are we in this age? Like, let's say in the
Yeah.
corner you'll see like 2001, second age.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, I know what time, when, what year we are. Yes,
You know
Adam?
how they say ignorance is bliss?
It's not.
Well, the struggle and frustration that you guys are having, I don't have that. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
not in this time period. It's not in that time period. I know about this world just enough to still enjoy this series. We just saw two episodes. Right now, everything looks amazing. The characters look awesome. I don't know how this is possible, but immediately I fell in love with young Galadriel. Like immediately. I looked at her and she's like, yes, that is what a goddess should look like. Yes, I now understand.
She's hot, but she's not Galadriel.
I mean, they say that Galadriel was so beautiful, like Gimli couldn't stop looking at her, and it's like I looked at Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings, and it's like, nah, man, nah, she's not doing it for me. And over here, I'm like, holy shit, can I please feel your hair anywhere from your body? Okay, that was weird.
Oh
Anyway,
my
I'm
gosh.
just
No, that's the thing though. Like,
I'm enjoying it. I don't know what to
she's
tell
not
you guys.
embodying the beauty of what she is. She's just this mean, snappy elf girl with a vendetta.
Okay, can we see her grow? Can we see her build into the woman we know?
Not necessarily.
No.
I'm not
Why
saying
not?
that we should make her Mary Sue and like she has all the things, but like,
It sounds like that's what you want.
no, that's not what I want. But the thing is, that's not Galadriel's character. It's not how.
The thing is, we kind of saw a Mary Sue when she was fighting the ice troll. The ice troll throws a big ice on the rock on all the elves, and they're like, "Oh shit, I fell, I can't do anything." And like she in 2 seconds, not using magic, defeating him, and all the other guy elves just standing there. And instead of like, "Yes, we will follow you," they say, yeah, fuck you. We don't want to follow you anymore.
Yeah, people would be like
you're
rallying
stupid.
to her all the time, like just because her, like, let's say her determination. She was like, "Yeah, I need to find him." They'd be like, "Yes, my lady, I will follow you to the ends of the earth." Not this like,
Yeah, guys, but they said they've been searching for hundreds of years.
Okay,
doesn't
okay.
matter.
Like,
Hundreds of years is
what
a
do you mean?
blink of an eye to an
Listen,
elf.
listen.
Okay. But when you're in the mountains of whatever place it's called, and it's in shivering, and you're living like shit, and you have frostbite, at the end of the day, you're like, all right. I
But
mean, my friends
here's
are
was an
chilling out
awesome
with the trees.
opportunity.
Okay,
Here was an awesome opportunity for the writers to invoke or show how powerful she is. When the guy falls down and he's like chilled to the bone, she could have warmed him up using magic by a single touch. That would have been rad. Then we'd be like, she's powerful, she's determined, she's ready to go, and she keeps her men's morale up. She's not this selfish prick who's got this like full goal and abandoning everything else. She had already been through something very almost similar via the kinslaying when she went on a migration with her with the people who followed her, and again they went through horrible the very like the frozen wastes and things like that, and they migrated down, and so like this scenario technically is just a repeat, and I'm saying like their attitude would not exist. I understand for the shows, again, this is why I'm saying sandbox. It's like they're taking the point of the world and just letting these characters do these things, telling their stories, but it's like they're not addressing that the real characters, it's not someone else embodying the character. The real character would behave or be a certain way, which is why I'm really surprised the actress. I would bet money that she hasn't read the Silmarillion or these things to understand who Galadriel is, because I don't see it. I don't even like, even let's say she was like gonna say, I'm gonna play Galadriel from a place prior to her becoming this, and the journey will bring me there. There are always hints of your true self in the beginning, you know. I haven't seen anything that makes me go, oh, that's Galadriel. You know what I mean?
yeah, I totally
Like,
agree.
of course, you guys agree. You guys are diehard fans. I'm saying
We're just
I
jerking each
have
other off, man.
that. I have no problem seeing Galadriel turn into the Galadriel we know in Lord of the Rings. I want to be I want to be with that. What am I trying to say? I want to see this the journey of her development. That's what I want to say. I mean, when it comes to women, let's all agree and come on, let's be honest for a second. When we see a woman heroine and she already has all the superpowers, we scream, "Oh, Mary Sue! Oh, boring! Oh, it's because of women. You just want to make her." And over here, Sababa, okay, fine, no problem. She did a cool backflip, whatever. She killed a nice troll, fine. I don't really care about that. But and we also didn't see her use her magic. But over here, maybe we're going to see her grow in these 8 episodes. What if there is a time lapse? What if they like you all just said? What if she does, get the rings, and then suddenly her powers increase tenfold, and then she becomes the Galadriel we know. But it does something to her, and she's conflicted, and it's a journey I want to accompany her, and I'm fine with that.
I can understand that point of view, especially from like being tired of modern day heroines. But the thing is, I already feel like she's acting in the attitude of modern day heroines. Like, it's not that Ray was just overpowered; it was her attitude and her disregard to basically some of the heroes and or legends of what she was supposed to become. Her attitude to Luke was just basically, I don't fucking need you. I'm so powerful and like I can do this. Like, I talked to you for like 2 minutes and I'm already ahead of you. And Galadriel's just so snippy and like Tolkien wrote Galadriel to be the best and the most powerful in terms of the elegance of a woman, like the perfect embodiment of it in beauty and character and whatnot. And again, she carried those characteristics through the tough times of the journey from Valinor, the kinslaying, and the establishment of the various realms. And that alone, and I'm not saying that like everyone can have personal growth, but an interesting insight, which I thought was really unique and I actually really liked, was in the second episode between Durin and Elrond, where Durin is upset at Elrond because so much time has passed, and to Elrond he's oblivious. And that's an insight into some of the aspects of like the elf mentality is different because they're immortal. And so because of that, you could play that differently. And so here it's like we have a concept. She's an elf. She's seen a bajillion things, and it's all on her shoulders. And you know, she's witnessed more than any man can handle. Basically, like she's told off Elrond. She's told off the sailor. There's no compassion. There's no nothing. There's like just fuck you. I'm gonna do this. And I was like, okay, cool, but like chill, man, chill.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
See where I'm coming
do.
from?
Yeah, okay, you're right. I do see that same mentality. I do see it.
Mhm.
My question
I'm not
is,
saying you can't enjoy it. Like again,
no, right. My question is, will this mentality of hers, this feminist toxic mentality, be something she needs to overcome until she becomes the Galadriel we know, or is this just another manipulation of America trying to shove their agenda down our throats?
we'll find out if she gets married or not. That I think will determine it because
She has. I mean, we know
she
she has
gets
to get
married
married.
to
Celeborn.
Calibor. Yeah. So it's like, you know, if they avoid everything and all possibilities of them like being entangled and having a relationship, then I think we'll understand that there's some like, nah, she's a woman, she can do it. Like it's like, but if they like bring and they softened her because of love or something while she retains her epicness, then maybe. And like again, I'm all for like good stories. So if she has a beautiful arc, I'll accept it. But for me, again, I'm not watching the actual Galadriel. I'm watching someone with a name Galadriel, and I'm willing to watch her story. I'm not opposed to her. I will make that differentiation. Like, I'm not opposed to all the stories being presented because I'm curious. And like I always say in every episode, I reserve my judgment until the end of the series so that I can actually say, this is this. But what I'm seeing are various trends, and that is, it makes me watch with caution.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of watching with caution, what do you think about beardless dwarves?
I laughed so hard. No, and for a completely different reason than I think that than most people. First of all, I liked the dwarves. I didn't like some of the aesthetics they chose, but you know, whatever. That's not the beards though. If you do watch, she does has these little curly tufts, and you know, by all means, there are some people who can't grow a beard, so you know, fair enough, and that's kind of hilarious. But I laugh because the hardcore promotion jamming down your throat of like, this person's prolific, they're they're amazing, first woman of color, woman dwarf on screen. And I just laugh because she's, you know, actually just has a 5-minute role, and it's like really not that big of a deal.
Well,
it's just like,
in this
really?
episode,
Yeah, but honestly, like her position. Look, if they overwrite her character, I'll laugh all the more because it just shows how much they're pushing it. But what we actually see that is positioned within the narrative, she's just a wife who, you know, the real
Yeah.
power is with Durin and his father.
yeah,
So
I
like the
agree.
dynamic. The
I
the
thought-
whole scene between Elrond, Elsa, and Durin was hilarious. It was a really well written scene, and
I know
hands down was like, yeah.
we're already diving into episode 2 over here, but I just wanted to say
Yeah.
that I thought seeing Khazad-dûm in its glory was pretty
Yes.
breathtaking.
Yeah,
It was
seeing-
breathtaking.
Yeah,
It's not
seeing
in its glory
Khazad-dûm.
yet because this is pre-Mithril.
Yes,
That's right. But it's still it was beautiful. It was
It
absolutely
was beautiful.
beautiful.
I do want to jump a second to the beginning of the first episode. So when they're climbing the cliff, the ice cliff,
Yeah.
when I saw that, and first we were looking at from afar, and then we were zooming closer. I was like,
Mhm.
please have the elven rope, please have the elven rope, and they didn't have the elven rope that Galadriel later on gives Sam, and I feel like that could have been a very nice touch if you could have, we saw them using that rope. Like, oh man,
Mm.
I don't know. For me, it's a small thing. It's not something that important.
If they
But
all had elven robes that could show
yeah,
that they're camouflage them,
no,
that'd be
not
interesting.
not camouflage them, but to go up the mountain.
Oh, rope. Yeah.
Yeah, the rope.
Sorry, I heard rope. My bad.
Oh no, the rope. They Galadriel gives Sam, and you know which rope I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
the elvish rope that is that undoes itself. Yeah, I recall.
Exactly. So I feel like that could have been a nice touch if we saw them use a
Especially if
rope.
they're climbing, these should be tied together, and so
Exactly.
a thin line of rope that seems unreasonably thin would be unique because we would all recognize that. That'd be a nice touch. I agree.
Yeah.
Not too
Then
much of a whatever, but that also for someone to, like, let's say a mountain climber watching this, they'd be like, "Well, I've done some freehanding, but like not as a group." Or
The- then
that was not great.
I personally think we can totally skip the hobbits. I don't like the Nori's acting, the character. She, my point of view, she's doing a good good acting. But
I
I
think they're all
feel,
doing a good acting. I think they're all doing a very good job.
but I feel like they're very useless, and also or
Yes.
pointless. Not useless, but pointless to the story.
We'll
And
find
I
out.
You don't
and
know what the story is yet.
and also
Yeah.
the love story between the elf and the woman. I feel like you can get rid of the woman, the elf you can keep. Like he's doing a good job. I like the job that he's doing. I feel like she is irrelevant.
To be honest though, like I there's some weird uh like inferred ideals. Like they've been at that fort longer than that settlement, or not necessarily longer, but within a generation. He's watched this girl grow up basically, which made me laugh. It's like, okay, so when did you fall in love with her? And then also I thought perchance that her son actually may be a half elf, but I'm not quite sure if that is to be revealed yet or is just not even a thing. um because they're clearly, those two have a passion, um, and he's been there long enough, so who knows. However, I don't think that's really brought up, and then that doesn't really matter. Again, I withhold judgment until I understand how the narrative works in total, and so by when episode 8 comes in, we'll say the Harfoots were useless or not, especially like, again, if this is an Istari and they're like, oh, this is how Gandalf, came to love the halflings because he was the first thing they interact with, I'd be like, okay, that's lame as shit and really horrible on multiple reasons. Or that it would be really interesting if it was Sauron, because it'd be like, oh, this was his first interaction, and he neglected them in the end and didn't care for them because he didn't think that they were a threat and they would be his very undoing, but not important. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But
it's funny how before all this came out, there was so much noise either against it, and it's so funny because you see this over and over again when what's his face, Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker. So for your information, a lot of people were against it. It's like, well, look at him, he's a pretty boy, and they made a lot of noise. But when they saw him in Nolan's movies, they were shocked, and this guy became the best Joker of all times. And
mhm.
there's always like uh,
He
there's always
wasn't a
like
person of color, no representation.
no, but I mean, you hold on to something that is so dear to you, and you're afraid to see that maybe we can do it a little bit different. And oh, everyone's always screaming, "No, it's not fair. It's not this. It's not that. It's not true to the story. Whatever." For example, there's a PlayStation game of Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Right. where you're like I forgot what it's called. Where
Shadow of
you're a
Mordor.
guy who maybe where you're collaborating with Calibrimbor's ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shadow of Mordor.
Okay, is it Shadow? So it is an amazing game. I played it. It's awesome. It has nothing to do with the story, nothing to do with the lore, but it's awesome and everyone loved it, right? So
Hmm.
right now, everyone before this came out, what a black elf! I even saw some people say, look at the trailer how he how he shoots his arrow sideways, typical of a black elf. And
That's
it's like
hilarious.
Jesus
That's a good
Christ.
meme.
Oh my God. I mean,
Dude,
it was over
I
the
don't have an
board
issue
funny.
with the race swapping. I would maybe prefer the elves were more like mono ethnic, but like seeing dwarves and the Harfoot, like of having people of color representing there, like that seemed, I don't know, for some reason that maybe that's some internal racism that I have, but it felt like that seems more appropriate. But I guess I have it like for me when I play Dungeons and Dragons, like certain races carry certain traits, and like depending where they live will differentiate them. But generally, they're if you go to a specific area, they're going to be more ethnic than another area. And like all the elves came from Valinor, Tachlis, like basically. And so like I don't know. It just seems like that they would be more. I don't know. Maybe yeah. Maybe I have to do some reevaluation. But like I again, the acting of the guy playing Arendelle,
the black
Aragorn,
elf. None.
the Black Elf, he's awesome. And so my only complaint is the hair.
Yeah.
It's like give him some long hair, and then I'm fine with it. Like because he
Yeah,
plays it really well. He's
yeah,
believable,
And
and the
give
acting is
those
fine.
dwarves beards.
yeah.
I
A lot
saw
of them had beards. I thought they did the dwarves particularly well. Just her one character not having beard, but she has tufts, so it's like they tried.
um
Adam had to pop out for those.
mm,
All of a sudden, not wondering where Adam went.
yeah, so Adam had to leave, and we will continue on if you
Hmm.
if you're into it.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway, yeah.
we kind of started talking about episode 2. We kind of briefly talked about episode 1. Before actually jumping to episode 2, I have something that I noticed with Elrond, and I think it's very nice what they did over here. So Elrond keep telling Galadriel, it's been many years, there's no evil, let it go. It's been several thousand years, just let it go. And she's like, no, I can't let it go because it's not gone for me. We
Mm.
see this young, naive Elrond basically like, it's been a long time. Let this shit go and move on with your life. Compared to the older Elrond that we see in Lord of the Rings, and he tells Gandalf, I was there, Gandalf. 3,000 years ago, I was there.
Yeah.
Like, we see how Elrond changed from someone who's like, dude, it's been so long ago, just forget about it, to Elrond, like, it doesn't matter how long has it been. Evil is still around, even if there's been peace for thousands of years, there's still evil around, and you cannot let it go. So
Well, here's the thing, like with that whole dynamic, and even with the king Gilgalad knowing that evil's out there, I just don't think the elf mindset, like it's felt too human to me. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like that idea of it's been thousands of years, that doesn't exist for an elf. They're immortal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So like that, the present, like that, they would be on alert. Like so again, like it's and I'm not the writers there. I don't know what's going on, but I just feel like certain things that are very clear, or at least I think are very clear, are particularly being missed, and so like it feels foreign to me who these characters are or are supposed to be,
mhm,
and also like that whole setup, like they wouldn't just, here's the thing, it would be so, instead of sending out of shame and whatever Galadriel back to Valinor to see her dead brother again and family, who would be there because they'd be re-embodied, that they would just send her away. Okay, go ahead, go look, by yourself, which again just contradicts the story and who she is and where she's supposed to end up and da 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 da. And it's a it's just very like that seems more narratively solid than just, oh yeah, we'll send you to Valinor and we'll never have to deal with you again. Like either or is a perfect scenario, but I think it would be more in line that be like, oh, actually go look for the evil. We're just not going to do it over here.
Yeah, it's
But I don't
true.
know.
We do see a Luthien in the graveyard, right? When she goes to the forest and we see all the trees are carved, right? In episode 1.
Yeah.
So
with her brother in the tree.
yeah, so we see other trees and other, elves carved into the tree. We see Luthien carved with Huan. So that was very a nice touch. But anyways, let's actually jump to episode 2
Okay.
and talk about more about what happens over there. Celebrimbor, I have an issue with him. Not only that he has a short hair, but the fact that he looks old. Elves, they, again, they don't age. Like, yes, they do age.
Have an ageless appeal.
Exactly. They have an ageless, exactly. The fact that he looks old, and if I'm not mistaken, he's out of all the elves that we see over here, he's the only one who actually looks old.
Yeah, basically. Well, he looks similar to the king to some extent. I found Gil-galad being pretty older looking.
I don't know. I found Gil-galad, like, again, very believable. He embodies the actor from my point of view. He embodies Gil-galad of my imagination, how I thought Gil-galad looked like. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with him. With Celebrimbor, I'm not. I don't feel like the guy's acting is, it's good acting. I have no problem with that. I just don't buy it that he's a Celebrimbor. I have a hard time with it. They do tell us, like, here the hammer that Fëanor
Fëanor,
built the Silmarils,
Yep.
and they do touch upon a little bit about Morgoth and the
First time they
Silmarils.
bring it up.
Yes, it's the first time they bring it up as the name. They officially name it, but they do touch upon it a little bit. I did want to mention earlier when we were talking about where Ungoliant got to be so big that at some point, if I remember right, I could be wrong, but if I remember right, Morgoth was afraid of her. That she basically said, like, feed me all the gold. And like, yeah, fuck it, eat, here, eat all this gold, eat all whatever you want, all these orcs, whatever. And then she said, I'm hungry. Give me those Silmarils. Feed me. And Oviel was like, yeah, no. And she said, like, if you're not gonna feed me the Silmarils, I'm going to eat you. And he was like, holy shit. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. So if I remember right, Morgoth was afraid of her, and to think that Morgoth is afraid of something, that's like, oh my god, that's insane. So to think, the giant of a spider that she is, and sadly we don't get to see it, that sucks. But we like they tell us, this hammer built the Silmarils, and Celebrimbor was like, I have never aspired greatness like if Fëanor did, and I want to. And we all know, the diehards that we are, he will aspire greatness. And he does say, with every greatness will come like devastation, will come bad stuff. And he creates, one of the most amazing things, the most horrible things at the same time. He is.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So I'm assuming he's gonna get the forge done, and he's gonna somehow Sauron is going to interact because he deceives them all. Like Sauron is supposed to be very charismatic, or somehow that the free people of Middle Earth want to deal with him because it's not like he's putting them on the edge of a sword, but he offers these gifts and they're like, yeah, sure, why not? So this will be an interesting dynamic to see how they explore and how they are like, yeah, okay, like, of course, I'm gonna make these rings on behalf of this guy. Oh, pardon me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they do that. Then later they go to a Kazakh Doom, which again, amazing how everything is over there. I think that's it. I don't remember.
I mean, the conflict of interest between Elrond and Doran comes up where he's like, "He'll welcome us with open arms, da da da," but because he skipped so much time, he's offended, and so he invokes the right of this ceremony, and the two go at it until Elrond decides that he'd take the side of humility and allow himself to lose.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, we did kind of mention it multiple times, so I'm thinking, like, what else did we not mention or didn't really touch upon?
Yeah,
I think we more or less talked about everything.
yeah. I mean, like, we're looking. So it all depends on how the writers want to choose to do this story. Do the people who leave and go to inhabit the Elven Watchtower, are these going to become the wild men? Are these going to become, like, because they're the remnants, what would maybe become of Gondor? Even though that's Numenor, but whatever, they haven't gone there yet. Again, Mordor hasn't been established, it's just the southern lands, but we do see that orcs are there, so what the fuck is up with that? Have they already constructed the are they already in the beginning of the construction of the tower further in? What's the prompt? Is my theory is that we're going to end up in Numenor next episode, where Galadriel's going to meet the Queen of Numenor at this point, and then she's going to warn them of the danger and say she has to get back, and there's maybe some conflict of interest. They're also going to show the Palantir.
Yes, the Palantir. Oh my god.
So we'll get an explanation of how and why they're using that. They haven't really established what kingdoms do reside within Middle Earth at this point, so it's a little bit confusing because certain kingdoms will imply certain times, and so if we can get one or two mentioned where we can be like, okay, we're sitting firmly here, but it is confusing, and I wait for more clarification so I can be like, okay.
Yeah, the thing is, they show us a lot, but at the same time, not enough.
Similar to the trailers, they didn't really have anything to share.
Yeah, as Tolkien fans, I'm okay with sitting 4 hours to see one movie.
Yeah,
and in those 4 hours, a lot happens. So this is only 2 hours. Not a lot happens. Not a lot has happened in those 2 hours. Like, we get 8 episodes. So basically, we as if get only 2 movies. I don't feel like a lot is happening. But I don't know. We will have to see in the next episodes.
Yeah, man. It's like, look, in my total overall view right now, it's like I'm 50-50. Like, some aspects I'm disappointed, but like I told Adam, like, I'm willing to go for the ride to see where it goes. Can I admire a story in and of itself? Sure. I think the target and the reason why a lot of Tolkien fans are upset is because you're promising to tell the story from a particular point of view, or you're saying, oh, we're coming into this world again, so therefore certain things are to be expected. However, the publicity and the promos have been very oriented towards very specific things, and it seems not very, like, respectful of some of the aspects of what Tolkien was trying to portray. That aside, though, we see that within the writing of itself. Like, I really don't think I'm watching Galadriel, but I'm okay with watching whoever this person's story is. I just don't know what or how it's going to go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I've been agreeing with you this entire time.
It's true.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I do like being back. It doesn't feel like back. It feels like a new place, but all in all, like I'm just excited to see the next episode and just to kind of clue in with like what's going on in the world. Hopefully they've made something special, but from the trends and what I'm tasting, it doesn't feel that way, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't know. It's very nerve-wracking, but we'll have to see. It's a new world, and who knows? Maybe they will one day do Tolkien Studios and do everything right as it should be, and then they'll do this is canon, and whatever this is, they'll say this is not canon. So,
You know what I think will happen though? Like to explain the argument further, it's like when people say they're using a franchise, just say you're using a franchise in order to tell a story, like, and people will understand that you're going to take some artistic liberty with some various aspects. It's like if you were to make another Harry Potter movie, even though it's not necessary, or like you would go back and then you made the characters act different, people would be like, oh, but that's not the Harry Potter I know. And it's like, no, it's not, but you're going to have to deal with it because I'm going to use them to express some of the values that I want. And
yeah,
I have a hard time with a lot of people calling Tolkien fans like toxic and or like not getting it. It's like, I think more so we get it. We just, it's just sad that in this day and age, it's like, okay, well, maybe we want a story to be told, but it would be really nice if we could preserve some of the values or some of the aesthetics or ideas that Tolkien himself was trying to express, because you cannot look at a historical piece of work and think about it from a modern day perspective. It just doesn't carry the same amount of weight because we have different issues, whereas and fitting those into the mold, you know what I mean? Whereas if the things that Tolkien was talking about are still relevant today and they're powerful themes, I think that'd be something for all of us to still consider or whatnot. However, again, not everything has been established, so I don't necessarily understand or know what themes or ideals of what this show is going to be. Again, some of the themes that they've already hounded is appearances may not be what they perceive, but that's kind of similar to how Star Wars was like, you got to let the past die. And that can be kind of annoying and disingenuous. But those are my thoughts.
No, I agree with you, but all we can actually do is sit and watch, or don't watch at all. This show did get a lot of bad reviews, so much bad reviews that on Rotten Tomato, the critics gave it like 86%, and the actual viewers gave it overall like 32%. So
I think I recall seeing that, yeah.
And also on IMDb, apparently Amazon owns IMDb, and they took down all the bad reviews. And on IMDb, it's 6.6.
Oh my gosh.
Oh well. Anyways, I do believe we got to our end of the episode. I am your host, Joel, and with me today, Moses Moon.
That's right, it's me.
Adam, my older brother, had to leave early, but spoilers, obviously. We talked about Lord of the Rings, the Power of the Rings of Power, episode 1 and 2. You can listen to our podcast anywhere you can listen to our podcast. Also now on Apple Podcasts as well. Give us
finally.
Yes, finally. Took us a long time. Give us 5 stars anywhere and everywhere you can listen. Spotify and all those other places. We are Spoilers Obviously, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode of Spoilers Obviously. Until then, bye.
Goodbye.